Man, I wanted to get out of here at 11 a.m. and there was just too much going on. Too much going on in the barn, and it's 1:09, and I'm just going back to the house to get my bag, and might have a quick shower, wash my face. A lot going on today. We trained 7 of the 3-year-olds a mile and a half. We were going to train 4 on the race bike. We scratched Blue Tesla because she still didn't eat everything this morning, and Jason said she ate good when she first got here this week and then came off her feed last night. Obviously something going on with this filly. So I said, not a big deal, just jog her. If she eats good the next 3 days, train her in 2.5, 2.6 on Saturday and school her on Wednesday. Now, I'm not going to be here next week, but I had asked Jason Merriman and Eric, to go with them in the schooler, or Jason, whoever's here, it doesn't matter. Just go a decent mile. So let's get into it. I went with we went in 3 sets. Went with some babies today. I trained Blanton's Blue. Actually, I went a little quicker than I was supposed to because I had him trotting good. I didn't want to double him up. He does got that little voice in his head where if you try to throttle him back, he tries to get out of work. He tries to look around. So I wanted to keep him on his toes the whole way. So it was a chore, not to go too much, but to go enough where I got a sense of how he was. We put that head pole on the inside, and he was better. He doesn't need the Murphy outside other than to keep him from looking at the gates. Sometimes you'll see us go with a lot of the babies, and you'll see that Murphy blind on the outside. And just because they know where they exit off the track and they lean that way, they'll pull up a little bit. So that Murphy blind helps them pay attention and focus straight ahead. And with Blanton's Blue, what it'll also do, though, when it's doing it, is kind of gets them to run in a little bit. You don't want him running in. His first 2 steps into the turn is to run out, and a little concerning, his first 2 steps out of the turns is to run in and square himself away. He's probably just touching himself a little bit somewhere. Not really that worried about it. I went a mile on 2:32 with him today, which is about 5 seconds faster than we've gone with anybody else. And he did it very, very, very easily. But again, got to pay attention. It was the fact that I knew where we were going. I was over the half in 19, which I knew was going to be too much, especially when, you're trying to teach him to step on it coming out of the turn and trot down the lane good and pay attention, but at the same time, keep him trotting. Don't break rule number 1. So he was very, very good in training. Another horse, first time I think she's ever trained in her life, was AC Swan. She was good. I went a mile in 2:52 with her, and she was actually really good, trotted good, no issues at all as far as getting on a shaft or whatnot. This is a filly we had an OCD removed from what is going on there? We had an OCD removed from in Illinois, and she looks great. The one thing about those 2 fillies from Illinois, they look great. Jim certainly did a great job taking care of them and getting them broke in good. Need to wear tongue ties on them, Jim, a little bit earlier, I think, because it's tough to get one on them. But other than that, they do everything perfectly. So I went with AC Swan. I went with Blanton's Blue. First set of 3-year-olds that went a mile and a half was Jason went with Austral Hanover. No hobbles on. He made a little break at the half. I said, no. Hobbles and bell boots back on Austral. But he used to do that. I remember now, even when we warm him up in the straightaway, you had to watch him a little bit. He'd run out, touch himself, and roll off. In top gear, he doesn't do that, but going in slow speeds, he does. So I don't know about the Murphy blind, but definitely bell boots and hobbles on him. Tailgate Buzz was good. He actually lost, ripped the back of the flip-flop, the rubber part off of the flip-flop, and stayed at it. I saw it come off. He did his work well. I moved over to the head of lane and dusted him. I blew up alongside him. I could have blew by him with Cutie Cumber, no hobbles on, and she feels amazing. Man, she looks good. A mile in, so we went a mile in, a mile and a half, 220, or 120 the half, 115, and 108 the last half. All 3 of them were good except for the break from Austral. I don't care about that stuff. Austral Hanover's already proven when the lights come on and the gate starts rolling, he shows up. So I'm not really worried about Austral. The next set was a 4. Swinging Senorita made a break today on Joe Cramp. Just got a little shuffly. Actually, she's due to be shod, and we're going to put the hobbles back on her. She looked like she was going to touch that left elbow. She always folded up really beautifully and high. And those hobbles, I think, keeping her shod, keeping her low and keeping the hobbles on her keeps her down out of that elbow. So that's what we'll do for her moving forward. Mopar Baby made a break on Jason McGinnis. She's done that before, but he said she's been training great by herself. This was her first training trip in company. She gets a little claustrophobic. If you remember last year, this was the filly that would make a little noise sometimes training by herself. So want to be careful of that moving forward. So I said just continue to train her by herself for now. When we start going faster miles, we'll train her with someone else. So Strong, a little more choppy today. You know, he didn't really change his gait that much. Many of you, my partners on the horse, remember him last year. Rough and rolly in the turns. He still is. But he trained awesome in the deeper stuff. This is very telling. Trained great in the deeper stuff on Saturday, but I went back to go with him today. And he was a little more rickety in the corners, I've noticed with him. So we'll keep an eye on that, see what happens. I got him around. We come up. Leaps and Bounds was the other one, and she was amazing. I know we went a lot more, not a ton more, but more than we were supposed to. I think we probably went a half in 18, a half in 12, and another half in 6. If I was to say where we went, I would say it was somewhere around there. Leaps and Bounds looked very, very, very good. Sir Strong, choppy, but did his work because he's a worker. He always works. And Jason made a break, and so did Joe with Swinging Senorita. Mopar Baby, they were good. Now, we had 3 horses in the bike. We were supposed to go with 4 in the bike. Blue Tesla we scratched today because she didn't eat real good, as I said at the start. But I think just something going on with her, a little virus. She'll bounce back. Jason can train her Saturday in the race bike, if, you know, unless it's supposed to be frigid, but it's supposed to be frigid today, and it ended up being a really nice day, too. So she can go on the race bike Saturday. Today I went with Bravura. 2-1 last half in a minute. Stalling in the turns. Not really happy about that. Stalling out in the turns a little bit. I asked Jason, I said, you know, she's in the sale, so we don't want to spend a pile of vet work on her. Pile of money on vet work on her. Maybe just have Dr. Latessa go over her and see what he thinks about Bravura and what's going on with her. But 2-1 on a cold day on a hard track, not a bad mile. But, you know, is it going to get her to 57? No. She got to race him where Dustin Hanover was. That's going to be a tough slide for her. But you know what? Get her in there, get a good mile on her. She's going to the sale. She's not a keeper. And as Mike Myers said, we're not going to put her in the skin box. She's not a keeper. Skin box. Never mind. She's going to the sale. She's going to the sale next week. I talked to Springhaven, who's going to consign those 3 horses. We ended up selling Hone the Tone. Our blacksmith Enos, who I know loves the horses and does a great job with them, bought Hone the Tone from us. That leg was big. We had just blistered it. And to get it down, I had told everybody in the owner's statement that the horse did tear a suspensory a little bit, and to ensure that at least he was cared for properly and that anybody wasn't going to rush him back to the races and really hurt him, I was much happier to have Enos take the horse over. He bought Granite Hill off us last year. He's an Amish guy, you know, he likes the big, strong, heavy horses, and I think he'll really love Hone the Tone. So as I said to Enos, you know, when you do get him sounded up, when he's 100%, I'd be very interested in trying to have him back, because I really like Hone the Tone. So a little closure in Hone the Tone. That leaves 3 going to the sale. Bravura will be going to the sale. Myself and this bar will be going to the sale, and so will Melanie's Michaela. I had talked to Sanina at Springhaven and said that's where we have Isa 10 situated. She's in foal, going to foal out to International Money. I said, Sanina, would you mind taking these 3 horses? Because if we get those 3 horses out to Sanina's, we can pick up Columbus, Full Heart, High Enterprise, and oh my gosh, the Grand Slam of mediocrity at this point. And I said to Jason, the quicker we get them up here and get them training harder, the quicker we can make some serious decisions when it comes to those 4 particular horses. High Enterprise obviously broke my heart last year. I thought she was going to be a real solid, real good performer for us in 2022, and just ended up terrible. Oh my gosh, bred well, looks good. Did he fill out? Are we going to be able to polish him up really good, qualify him, and race him? Or are we going to be able to train him a few times and say that's enough? That will be up to him. And the same goes for Columbus and Full Heart. Both of them apparently all of them have been training okay. Let's get them under a microscope here, drop the hammer on them a little bit, see what is going on, see what is good and what is bad and won't work and will work, and hopefully salvage something from any of those 4, but that will be up to those 4. So that's what took place today. No, it's not. I also trained I'm going to leave the best one for last because I was very, very happy to see it. Kind of classy, Jacob Schaefer's horse. Maybe one of the rudest horses I've seen in a while. At Donato Hanover, he can make them doozies, right? You guys remember we talk about Nancy Allison being the sister of Militant, how nice he was and how ignorant and terrible she was as far as doing anything polite. Well, I'll tell you what, this kind of classy, man, she can be a miserable mare. She was going a mile in 2 minutes coming out 57, 58 and just rolled off for no reason, which I hate. I hate that so much. But, it's just one of those things. That's the first time I've gone with her. We'll school her next week. If we have to make changes, add weight, put hobbles, and we can do that. But she felt like she had some ability. But, man, she knows all the tricks at Philly. I didn't want to go out the door. I was trying to do wheelies. Then I went to turn her to train her mile, and she was bunny hopping. That right there, that's a black belt. You got to have some added experience in ignorance to know how to do that. And then once I turned around and went again, she realized, okay, it's time to go. And she did her work, but starting into the backstretch, she was going to come a real good half. I felt like she was really stepping along nicely and just rolled off. Very frustrating, the whole situation, but there is some talent there. We'll school her also next week. And then a horse that I just thought was tremendous today was Sister Solange. I won a mile in 2-3 and 2, come a half in 57 and 1 on a windy day. She was very, very good. Now, the one thing I can note about Sister Solange, she didn't grow much. She looks the exact same as she did when she was 2. I said to Cindy, I want to make sure she stays eating good. I don't want her to lose 1 pound, and I don't want her to leave one morsel of food in her feed tub. I want to make sure she's on the stuff for ulcers and stuff. Bring her in. Maybe another one of these horses. We talked about this in the past, where jog them at 7 o'clock. I'm going to feed them, jog them at 7 o'clock in the morning. Maybe a mid-morning kind of snack type thing. Half a can of feed, maybe a little mash, and then at lunch try to get her eating as much as you can. And again, even more so at supper time. It's worked really well with Dustin Hanover and a couple of horses that were what I would call underweight. They've really started to put on some impressive weight, and I want to see that. Cindy does a great job working with those horses too, so I want to see Sister Solange carry her weight. I did put the hobbles on her. Harry said he thought she'd need the hobbles on a half. Now, we had them on her today very loose. I don't think she needs them. I said to them the other day, I said to them when I came in, I said, to school this filly also, 2-1, 2-2, next Wednesday. I'd leave the hobbles off her. She just felt very, very good today. Very comfortable, very strong, especially in the wind. That was a very, very big last half. So impressed with Sister Solange. Unimpressed with just the attitude of Kind of Classy. If her attitude was better, she did go an impressive mile, and was going to go an impressive mile. And then Bravura was a little flatter than I'd like, but that's why she's in the sale. The 3-year-olds that went did their work very well. Austral and the breakers of some of those horses, I'm not really worried about. The track was hard today. Swing, Senorita, Austral, no hobbles on. Put the hobbles on them, we'll get them going. There's no rush with any of those horses. And Cutie Cumber definitely, her and Sister Solange took top billing. No, that's not true. Leaps and Bounds was amazing also. Leaps and Bounds, Sister Solange, and Cutie Cumber top billing today. They look great. And we got the 2-year-olds that were sent to the principal's office today. They did their work well today. So a good day of training, a little later than I want. I'm not going to get out of here until about 1:45. But it's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. We get out of here and get home. Lots to do in Ontario. We got the O'Briens on Saturday, and then Monday, my family has said a little family trip on Monday. So lots going on this week. Everything's going along nicely. JK Victory will land Friday for those of you wondering, he'll land Friday at Harry Polton's barn. Whether he races next week, that'll be up to Harry. Whether he wants to qualify him or race him, we'll see how that goes. The Grey Horse will race next weekend, Hunted House. Very happy with him also. Very happy with Dustin Hanover. He's going home to Mohawk. Now, a little odd plans that are kind of coming up. A fork in the road is coming. Do we send him to Mohawk for a short stint and then send him to Dayton for that Non-Winners of 4 series? Jason was lobbying hard not to race him over, not Dayton, it's Miami Valley, I apologize. Jason was lobbying hard not to send him to Miami Valley. That track is generally a hard surface, and he thought that it wouldn't be beneficial for Dustin, and which I can't disagree with him. I think he could be right. So I think what we may do is just leave it up to fate. Race him next week. Race him next Thursday. If he wins, he can't race in the series. If he doesn't win and James likes him and thinks he's good, fine. We'll race him another week or two in Ontario and send him down to Miami Valley. As far as Hecate and HB Maestro, they're potentially going to be heading to Miami Valley, but we'll see. A lot of things still in flux, a lot of horses getting close. Super excited to see Sister Solange and Cutie Cumber train good today. Two very different speeds, but very happy with both of them. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. You're all up to date today. We have horses racing today, this afternoon at the Meadows. Good luck to everybody. I believe Hecate and Maestro are racing today, so good luck to you with them. I'm going to go in, get my bag, grab a quick shower, and head down the road. Take care, everybody.